Original post, April 11, 2024. I, 25 female, have my mom, 63 female, living with me in my apartment due to the people we used to live with, and then eventually she lived with, being horrible to her and treating her poorly both mentally and financially. It took me months to convince her to come live with me instead to better herself, but she finally did and has been happier since. A while back, she was introduced to a 3-day weekend personal mastery seminar course. She was very interested in it, and while I was skeptical, I said she should go if she wants. She did, and she ended up loving it, which was great, and I was glad for her. Every now and again, she brings up the seminar, talking about how she thinks it would help me and be good for me, etc. I have tried to keep an open mind, but I remain very skeptical of this whole thing as it's supposedly an interactive course that is meant to change your way of thinking about things. That being said, she's not allowed to tell anyone what actually happens at the seminar. No one is. It's part of the rule of the place. So me, being paranoid and skeptical as I've learned to be, doesn't trust it, and I've expressed this. My mom has been understanding of that fact. Still though, she continues to bring it up now and again. A few days ago while shopping, we saw one of my mom's friends, Julie, and they got to talking about the course which they have both gone to. They both really kept encouraging me to go, and I expressed discomfort at that, and they said they understood, and I could go when or if I'm ready. I thought it was finally over with. Yesterday, my mom suddenly sprung on me that Julie has received an anonymous donation to sponsor someone to go to the seminar this weekend. It costs $995 to sign up, and Julie wanted to sponsor me. Julie's husband even offered to use his hotel points to get me a free room, so I'd be able to go for totally free. I felt so uncomfortable and didn't know what to do. I had a very long talk with my mom about how I feel extremely pressured to do this thing I really don't think I want to do, and she seemed receptive and understanding, but now I feel like I'll be an asshole if I don't accept an extremely generous offer, despite the fact that I'm uncomfortable. My mom has given Julie's husband my number and he plans to call me and talk to me about the seminar, and I really don't even want to have the conversation. I'm trying to have an open mind, but I really don't like the idea at all. I feel very forced into this situation despite my mom saying I don't have to go. So, would I be the asshole? Edit because I forgot to add, friend opinions are insanely mixed. Some say I should go, some say I shouldn't, some say it would be good to get away, some say it feels messed up they put me in this position, some say I'm an asshole if I don't go. I don't know anymore. Edit 2. I know I literally just posted this, but Julie's husband just texted me sending me details on the hotel because he just used his points to book me a free room. I'm literally going to cry. Relevant comments. Comment 1. Not the asshole. This is a cult. They'll give you one seminar for free, then they will ask for more and more, seminars, tapes, books, etc. I would bet money that Julie and her husband get a cut of all the money you give. Comment 2. OP, go and watch The Vow on HBO now. And make your mom watch it with you. It will open your whole world to how horrible these places truly can be. Comment 3. Yeah, read this comment on there. I got convinced to go to a meeting of theirs a few years ago and thought I'd do a search here for fun to see if there was anything new about them. The wife of my family's pediatrician is some degree of coach for Clemmer and Associates and was asking my dad if he would be interested in a weeknight seminar. My dad, not knowing any better and being polite, said he would be out of town, but would see if I would be interested. I figured what would be the harm in an evening seminar, probably about leadership in the workplace, etiquette, your standard work-life improvement stuff. I paid $20 and went. It was actually pretty well attended and in the ballroom of a hotel. It starts off pretty normal. Just says your standard things about self-reflection, and bettering yourself, and this program can help you get there. It also goes into the whole life cycle of the program. This night was step 1, then there was a couple of weekend conferences, then capping off with a week-long training to finish the program, at which point you can become one of the coaches like the doctor's wife was. We did some icebreaker things. Then they started talking about the line of books the company had for sale, and more of the same promises of what the program can do. My enthusiasm is starting to fade. Then the presenter said something along the lines of, so as we reach the end of the first hour, consider where you are now as we move into the next 2 hours of the introduction of our program. Strike 1. It is a weeknight, I'm still in my work outfit. I'm not getting home at 9 o'clock unless this is worth my time. Beneath the chair is a pamphlet about the program, and attached is an order form. In very, very tiny print, I see that the cost of the full program, from tonight to the full week event, would tally close to $16,000. The tone of the speech turned slightly and asked you to examine yourself. What did you think were the problems in your life? Are you doing anything to address them? What are your hopes and aspirations? Discuss your dreams with the person sitting next to you. I took one look at the middle-aged lady sitting next to me, just kind of muttered an "excuse me," and walked out. I did some homework later on the company and found that this is how their whole system works. Hour 1 is the introduction, Hour 2 you reflect on everything wrong with your life, Hour 3 is a taste of how you, through their magical program, can fix it. Worse still, some sources I was reading up on encourage their program in place of legitimate therapy treatments. So answer your question, there's no physical product. It's about being coached and then turning around and coaching others, which compared to MLM standards might be even worse in comparison. The wife of the doctor shoots me a quick message saying that she was sorry I couldn't stay for the full program and that she would leave a free copy of my book in my mailbox. Alright, fine. It shows up in my mailbox and I never touch it. I get call a few weeks later from another coach rep wanting to touch base because I had attended their seminar. I kind of listened, planning on letting her down gently when she said, "Wife of doctor said you love the free book though." Okay, nope. Do not put words in my mouth. I'm obviously heated and say, "Actually, I did not enjoy the book, and do not contact me further." She apologizes and hangs up. Doctor's wife texts me, "What timing?" saying that she was misinformed and that I would be removed from their list. I ask that any family members of mine that have been added to their information be removed as well. A few months later I get a similar sales phone call. So I've clearly been lied to. I got nasty on the phone, which I emphasize, never happens, and I haven't heard anything since. So put it simply, these guys are hacks. They aren't talked about much online, but these guys are at best way too expensive life coaches and have drunken too much of their own Kool-Aid for their own good. At worst, they are preying on vulnerable people for many thousands of dollars. Don't go unless you actually want to join this. There are many better, healthier, and cheaper ways of gaining personal mastery. OP. Thank you for this. Looks like Mom and I are going to have a very long and extensive talk when I get home. This is by far the worst scam she has fallen for. I cannot believe I haven't looked into this sooner. Update 1, July 22, 2024. I went home and had a long talk with my mom. She was very resistant at first, but ultimately settled down and just listened. She asked a few questions here and there, and I answered to the best of my ability. I explained everything and laid it out on the table. I shared the testimonials I could find from real people who described exactly what happened during those seminars and how screwed over they got by it. She couldn't believe it. She started to cry. She felt upset and betrayed, and she asked me, how could she be so stupid? I had to calmly explain to her that she wasn't stupid. She was preyed upon by people she could trust while she was in a vulnerable state. She seemed to understand after I explained how they almost did the same to me while I was also in a vulnerable state. More talking and I come to find out the people that turned her on to the idea of going to the seminar herself before were Julie and her husband. I described to her in vivid detail how they would go about this, how they would start with saying how it changed their life. Then have someone call you, then have someone pitch it to you over the phone, until you finally caved and spent $1,000 and went. Her jaw seemed to drop to the floor, because that was what she experienced. After talking for a while, I later learned that Julie and her husband were begging my mom to come on Sunday of the weekend I was supposed to go. After digging into this more, I think they may have been planning to start trying to bring her into the side of pulling people into the cult-like organization. She didn't go, but didn't want to believe that Julie and her husband were a part of this, and wanted to believe they were good people who didn't really know what they were doing. I was once again skeptical, but I told her they are not my friends and I will allow her to handle it accordingly. She understood, and while not revealing that she knew it was a scam, has since tried to text or call Julie. She never returns her calls or texts. She's ghosted my mom. I think that was one of the bigger nails in the coffin for her. I had pointed out a show by the name of The Vow on HBO. I explained how it was a documentary of a similar sounding cult and that it may be worth making her sit down and watch it. After our long talk, I made her watch. She stared at the screen in horror for the first episode I watched with her. She told me in a trembling voice that this was the exact seminar she'd gone to, just with a few small details changed. That documentary details another company that in the end it was revealed to be a sex cult. It opened my mother's eyes and mine. So that's what happened. My mom accidentally fell for an MLM cult and was betrayed by her friends and almost betrayed me while she was at it. Julie and her husband never contacted her and I again. Mom still thinks about it sometimes, but I noticed the things she had from her exercises from the seminar that she used to hang on her wall are missing. I feel bad for her, but I'm just glad I got her out of there when I did. I hope this was a satisfying update. Thank you to all the Redditors from my first post who helped me find out that it was an awful scam and helped me break my mother away from this awful thing. I appreciate you immensely. Thank you. Story 2, my parents have joined some New Age religion and intend to move me to a compound against my will. Original post, July 12, 2019. So I really don't know how to start this, so I'll get right to it. My mom and stepdad are really into New Age science and beliefs. I've never agreed with them on this and didn't know how extreme it was. Recently though, they have become involved in an extremely weird support group. I say that in quotes because I have no clue who they are. When I'm around they never mention any group names, or what organization they work for or are a part of. Because of this, I have not had much luck finding out stuff, as New Age cult gives too many results to look into. This Monday my mom and stepdad sat me and my 4 siblings down. They told us that we will be moving at the end of the month to a more stable location within a spiritual community. According to them, they plan to pull all 5 of us, I'm 16, couldn't think of anywhere else to mention this, out of school here and enroll us in their mind awakening school wherever we move. I tried to get anything out of them but they refused to talk to me at all about it. According to them, because I'm still a child in mind, body, and spirit, I need to listen to them, not ask questions. I've actually been freaking out since then and have been trying to get advice, but I've been unable to. They cut off the internet, phone, and TV on Tuesday, and they have been keeping a laser focus on me and my siblings since then. I'm currently at a friend's house and this is the only way I've actually got access to the internet. This seems like a cult 100% to me. Last night they had 3 people come and talk to me and my siblings, and the stuff they told us was crazy. I was talked to alone by an old man who told me about how my mind is closed, and that I will slowly learn to open it as my parents have, and that the leaders will love to meet me and put me in their programs. I need to know what I can do here. My dad has shared custody of me and since Monday I've had no contact with him. He is supposed to have a call with me every night, but my mom claims he's been informed and supports this. I tried calling him this morning, but he didn't answer. He lives in another state, so it's kind of hard to get into contact with him outside of phone and email. I'm at a friend's house because I was able to leave the house for the first time in a week this morning after I told my parents I wanted to go to the park but came here and told my friend everything. Her parents are not home but she's trying to call them, and I plan to stay here tonight if I can. My parents have forbidden me from using the internet because it's full of lies from them. I'm so lost right now it makes me sick. I do not want to go with them to this obvious compound and I need to know what I can do here. Can I just run away, and if my parents harbor me can they get in trouble? If my mom has been lying about my dad, can he do anything? Thanks. Edit. I talked to my mom and told her because I would be moving soon and this might be one of the last times I could see my friend I would like to stay the night, and she said it was okay and that this family was trustworthy not to try and corrupt my view. I got into contact with my dad, and he's pissed. He did not agree and was told I didn't want to talk to him. My 15-year-old sister's dad was told the same despite the fact he is primary custody and she only spends the summers with us. My sister's dad is going to call CPS too, and I just got done with my call to them, but I won't repeat what they said here. I will be spending the night here, and when my mom asks me to come back tomorrow my dad has told me not to go back and to tell her that he will be flying down here to Florida immediately if I don't check in with him or he hears I went back to her. He says that he is already looking into emergency custody. I want to thank my friend's parents real quick because they've been great. They both have been great and are working with my dad right now to help me. I also will be going and buying a burner phone tomorrow and withdrawing all my money from the bank. My dad says he will handle getting my stuff from my mom when the time comes. Thanks guys for the advice. Update 1, August 19, 2019. Since my last post got popular and people still seem interested in my situation, I thought I would give you guys an update on everything. It's been over a month and I'm sorry I kept you guys waiting. Things were pretty crazy, and my therapist said it probably wasn't the best idea to rant about it online till I felt ready. Well, now that I'm settled down a bit I feel like it might be good to get this off my chest anyway. Sorry if this disappoints you guys though, as my dad says I should not include any personal details for fear of leaking my identity, so even though I know the group now I won't be naming them for fear of it getting back to me. So after I stayed the night with my friend's family, my mom and stepdad tried to get me to come back home immediately. My dad said not to go, so I somehow convinced my mom to let me stay the rest of the stay and I would come home that night. This plan didn't work out very well though, as my sister's dad called the police to report that he couldn't contact my sister and was afraid she was kidnapped. It didn't take long before my mom caught on that I was the one who leaked to him their plans and they freaked out. My mom then came to my friend's house and tried to force her way in to take me because I had been corrupted and needed to be locked away from bad influences till we left for the compound. My friend's parents called the police, and I called my dad and he got to talk to my mom. I'll leave it short and say this was a nightmare situation that almost ended with my mom being charged with trespassing. My mom and dad argued on the phone for over 3 hours outside of my friend's house. In the end, my dad made it so I would not have to go with them, but the only safe place my mom would agree to me staying is with my uncle 4 hours away. I stayed with him for over a week, and it was the worst week of my life. My mom called me constantly to try to talk to me and save me from the evil energies my father had possessed me with. My stepfather also began to send me various threats and told me that at the end of the month, I was coming no matter what. After a week of this, everything changed. My mom stopped calling me. My stepdad stopped texting and they went quiet for 4 days. Me, my uncle, my dad, all of them couldn't reach them. My sister's dad also stopped being able to reach them. During this time my mom bought my sister a plane ticket home and my sister's dad only learned of this when he got a call after my parents dropped my sister off at the airport. After this, my mom called me one last time. She proceeded to tell me that she had been meditating, praying to my guardian spirits daily, and talking to the leaders. All to help me open my third eye to see the truth and understand I was being used by evil. During these sessions apparently, she finally realized the truth, and saw me for the evil spawn I was. According to her, I am an evil seed, and that I not only was brought here to bring evil spirits onto her and her good children. I also infected the womb and corrupted my sister. She told me to send my uncle down and pick up all of my worldly possessions that were infected and to not come with him or ever contact her or her family again. She ended by telling me that I was never her child and that she hopes the universe deals with me. The last contact I know about was her telling my dad she wants to revoke her parental rights. At the end of last month, they moved to the compound with my 3 step-siblings. I moved out to live with my dad and have been in therapy since then. Things are still pretty raw right now and I really don't feel like getting into the emotions I feel towards this. But I feel like at least updating this may be a start. Thank you to everyone who gave advice and sent me kind messages on here offering help. I really do appreciate it. I can't imagine what finding out your parents joined a cult is like. Or the fact that you will be soon as well. Also, huge props to OP for being on top of things enough to go get help. She was able to save her and her sister from being stuck in who knows what kind of cult. Although I do feel bad for OP's step-siblings that didn't have someone to pull them out of their parents' stupidity. Anyway, that's all for this video. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching and I will see you in the next one.